Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a Q&A for Game of Thrones for today, leading up to the premiere for Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 4, which is tonight. This episode, let's just start with this before we get into any other questions, somehow ended up being leaked online. And possible spoiler warning, especially in the comments, so be careful, guys. You may not want to check the comments because I can't always control what people post. Sometimes I don't delete it fast enough for other people to see it. So, and just to say, if you are one that's already seen Episode 4, I haven't yet, so I hope you enjoyed it if you did see it from a leak. I'm going to do the usual thing this week as I usually do. I'm going to watch it, premiere time, I'm going to do the review afterwards, then we'll do the predictions for Episode 5. But this is really crazy stuff because this is not the first time this has happened with Game of Thrones. You know, it's happened before. We had a few, was it last season? I'm trying to remember. I think it was it Season 6 or Season 5? Maybe it was Season 6, where they had a good number of the episodes leaked. Or maybe it was 5. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember now. But, yeah, a good portion of the episodes, I think it was like 3 or 4 episodes, all at once, which is like a whole month's worth of content, was leaked before for Game of Thrones. So for this season, it's just been one episode so far that's been leaked somehow. You know, hopefully the other episodes, they'll be able to keep them under wraps, so to speak, and keep everything together so that everyone can kind of watch it at the same time and get, you know, the proper viewing experience and, you know, doesn't know ahead of information. But I've also heard that the rest of the season has somehow been spoiled. I don't know if it's true. I haven't read any of this stuff myself, but I've been seeing stuff in the comments, and to be honest, it really pisses me off because once it gets spoiled, eventually I see it. Now, the thing with me is, and I'm sure with a lot of you guys online who watch videos, or, you know, if you do any Googling for just about any of your favorite shows, you know, sometimes you want to wait. Like, sometimes you want to get to see it firsthand. You don't want it to be spoiled in a comment. You don't want that kind of thing to happen and for it to kind of ruin your viewing experience. So with this one, once an episode gets leaked, I mean, of course, it's probably going to be all online. I haven't really checked myself yet to know what's going to happen tonight. I've done my predictions video as I usually do and all that kind of stuff. And I am really excited for tonight's episode, for Episode 4. But yeah, man, it's really unfortunate because this is not something that just happens with Game of Thrones. This is happening with all kinds of shows, unfortunately. The spoilers and, you know, well, leaks are one thing, but, you know, they don't happen as often. But the spoiler thing is becoming kind of crazy with some of the bigger shows on TV. Of course, with Walking Dead, they can't keep just about anything under wraps. They've even gone to extents where they would film, you know, 11 character deaths just to try to keep under wraps a couple, and they still can't keep them under wraps. They still can't do it. You know, at least they're trying. At least they're doing their best to try to, you know, get some misinformation out there to try to, you know, mislead people. But at the same time, you know, it just seems like with today's technology, it's really, really hard for HBO or AMC or whoever the hell, if they've got a really hot show and the fan base really wants to know, it just really seems like they're finding a way to figure it out no matter what. And I've had people, you know, message me in the comments like, so-and-so dies in the finale for Game of Thrones for this season. And it's like, well, fuck you, you know, because now I'm going to be watching through to the finale, and I don't know if that comment was just trolling me or if it actually was leaked. I don't know, and it's like, it's very frustrating because now if I go into the finale for this season, and it's like, I'm not sure if that person was just guessing, if they were doing a prediction, if it actually is spoiled, I don't know. So, heads up for you guys if you don't want to have, and see, this is the thing too, this is like the finale for Game of Thrones is really what we're watching. I mean, it's not one episode, of course. You've got still, you know, let's see, 4, 5, 6, and 7 from this season, and then 6 from next year. So, you know, we do still have some episodes left, but we're so invested in the series after watching it for so many seasons. We're seeing it all come down to the wire. The last thing that, you know, I really want to see is someone just telling me in a comment, hey, so-and-so, you know, that's it. And it's like, what the you know, like it's just, oh man, it's trolling to the next level. It's like, because they have that information, they know you don't want to know at that time, so they're going to tell you, right? So that's what people do. That's sadism at its finest. that's people really, really taking pleasure in hurting others, even if it's just for entertainment purposes. Still, it's the same emotion that takes people towards that direction of evil type of behavior, hurting others for fun. So I mean, and whatever. I mean, if you're one to watch leaks, of course, I don't have anything, against you or anything like that. Or if you're one to read spoilers, I don't have anything against you either. But the only thing I would ask of people online is to try to be respectful. And you guys have it. Like, I'm not really talking to my subscribers here because I know you guys are really great about this. But it's just that random dude, that random person it could be a female too, random person on YouTube that just happens to watch a video and then just feels like, I'm just gonna ruin this shit for everybody, and they just post that shit. They don't spoiler tag it or anything. It's just like right there, and then I have to delete it from the comments, and I see it as I'm deleting it, and I just don't know if it's legit or not. So if it's actually leaked information, spoilers, or if it's actually just some idiot just being a jerk. So I'm hoping for this season that the finale episode, the final episode, was not leaked, and that it isn't known information of who's going to die in the finale of one of the greatest series of all time. So that's really what I'm hoping, and we'll see if if that's the case, or if literally it did just get spoiled. How this epic series is going to end. So yeah, the usual stuff for tonight, guys, and I hope you guys have been enjoying this season of Game of Thrones so far. I know I have, and I'm glad. I hope the rest of the season doesn't get leaked all at once or something, because it's such a big thing. It's so monumental. I do like the Netflix idea too, where you just drop a whole season on people all at once. But to be honest, the suspense builds between the episodes. Like, you have it once a week, you get hype for the next episode, and then you get to see it, and you get to maybe watch it twice or 3 times because it's so epic. When you see the whole thing together, you just watch it all the way through, and then, most of the time you don't go back and rewatch, or you don't really think about what happens in between or anything. It doesn't give you that time to kind of like decompress and, absorb the new info, decompress, and then watch something else. Like watch the next episode the next weekend. So, yeah, let's hope they can keep everything under wraps going forward, and especially for next season, too, because especially for, Season 8 of Game of Thrones, I really hope there is nothing spoiled about how this, is going to end up. So we'll see. So that's for you guys. A lot of people asked, what do you think about the episode being leaked online? Have you seen it yet, Trev? No, I haven't seen it yet. Wits77 says, so how do we think Jon will react if he sees Theon pull himself up on shore? So with Theon and Jon right now, and again, see, this is why leaks can be tricky, because I want to do a Q&A, but it's like, there could be something in there that I haven't seen that maybe some people have. But speaking from my perspective right now, which is all I really have, I wouldn't think that Jon seems pretty at this point subdued, or he seems pretty relaxed and really doesn't care so much. I like the idea that Beric Dondarrion says where every time he dies, when he gets brought back, there's a little bit less of him. And I don't know if Kit Harington is kind of playing Jon in that similar. He's always been kind of quiet, kind of reserved kind of guy. But I get the sense that ever since with what happened to him before, Melisandre bringing him back, I do get the sense that there's a little bit less of him, in terms of the enthusiasm, in terms of the life factor. Like, if you being alive and you're enthusiastic and you're living and you're out there, he seems a lot more, just slower down. Everything just seems to be more like a little bit less than what it was before. So I like that idea. And, for him with Theon, I wouldn't think he'd go crazy on Theon or anything like that, because I think he would know and understand that Theon's had a pretty tough time. And yes, he might kind of have been an enemy of the Starks. Of course, he was at one point during the series. I think at this point he's probably let that go, or just been like, oh, whatever. Who knows what the hell happens? Because, of course, Jon as well, too. He joined the Wildlings for a while, and then he kind of came back. So, he's been on both sides, and I think at this time he's probably just like, probably be whatever. I don't think he'd be too pissed. He might not be happy to see him. He might not like to see Theon at this time, but, you probably wouldn't be too pissed off at him either, because I'm sure he'd understand kind of how things go. Even though Theon was kind of he was a traitor and that kind of thing, and you know, he did, but he's kind of paid the price, you know, with the whole Reek thing and everything like that. Horrible Video Production says, Trev, please don't spoil Season 7 of Game of Thrones with your thumbnails, because I haven't had the opportunity to watch the episodes yet. I believe there's others like me. So for HVP here, and those rest of you guys, I do try pretty hard with the thumbnails not to ruin things for you guys. I mean, of course, you know, I have to use some kind of picture to represent the episode, but don't worry, I won't be using like the character that dies in the episode in my thumbnail. If there's a if there's a big death like last week with you know, spoiler warning, Olenna, I don't take her and put it in the thumbnail. You know what I mean? Like, I don't do that, you know. So I just naturally make the thumbnails as it makes sense, as it pertains to the episode and with what I have. And, you know, you don't have to worry too much about that. I won't be, you know, ruining any major character deaths for you guys or anything like that for the most part. So don't worry about that. Jay Morris says, Q&A Trev, did you expect the Lannisters would be, for lack of a better word, so powerful this season? They lead you to believe there was no way, and they're just, you know, sweeping right now. Love your videos. So for Jay Morris, yeah, at the beginning of this season, I mean, if you watch my predictions video for this season, you know, I wasn't spot on, but I was pretty close. However, I didn't see almost any way that the Lannisters could win. I never thought that because of Daenerys' empathy towards others, Cersei would be able to exploit that as a weakness and really, you know, best her in some ways in some of these battles we've seen so far, and take out some of her allies, because Daenerys is empathetic and doesn't want to kill innocent bystanders, right? So I think it's written really well. It makes a lot of sense, you know, but it also shows, which is something in Game of Thrones we've seen quite a bit, which is being a good guy is, there's a lot of disadvantages to being a good guy. When you're a bad guy, when you're a villain, you do just about anything. But when you're a good guy character, there are certain lines you won't cross, and that could sometimes be a disadvantage in this type of situation, for sure. So it's not a convenient or a nice thought to think of. But, yeah, I am surprised by how easily the Lannisters are having a time right now. But I expect Daenerys and the others to turn it around pretty soon. I mean, she's got the dragons, after all. That's like a trump card, so, yeah. Treshnan Rules says, hey, Trev, my question is, what were your thoughts on Jon Snow saying, I'm not a Stark, as the dragon flies over him, teasing his Targaryen heritage? Also, Bran is freaking weird. And that's true. It is nice to see Bran around others and to see that he doesn't, at this time, he does not, you know, social, like he can't interact with others in a normal way, that kind of thing. He can't do that anymore. It's just so, he's so far removed from like that. He's detached, and I think that's kind of cool. So I like that about Bran, but I'm kind of sad that he doesn't like, you know, embrace his sister and isn't really excited to see her. Like he kind of does, but it's not like this thing. It's kind of super weird, and he brings up stuff that's really weird, you know, and like weirds her out, and she has to leave. But the stuff with Jon Snow saying he's not a Stark and the dragon flying over, that was pretty cool, man. I did like that quite a bit. I thought that was good. So we'll have to see if he finds out at some point, if Bran tells him or somehow. You know, it'd be cool if one of the dragons like flew down to him and like, you know, sniffed him or something. That'd be kind of cool. Reek, because I reek so much, asked the final question. Says, Trev, I swear this show is going out of its way to keep Bran away from Jon this season because he knows his true heritage. First, Jon gets news from Dragonstone and Sam at the Citadel, but no news saying Bran has arrived at the Wall. Second, Bran arrives at Winterfell literally just a day or two after Jon left for Dragonstone. Coincidence? I think not. I am just predicting Jon Snow will learn his true parentage in Season 8 in the series finale. What are your thoughts? You could be right. It could be the end of this season. It could be at the end of next season at some point when the series is about to end. But I think, you know, they probably want to have it maybe a few episodes before the absolute finale, because it would change some things for Jon. It would change how he sees things, how he sees himself, and maybe how he sees Daenerys, because of course then he would be like, you know, they'd be related closer. So yeah, so that would be cool. We'll have to see when they bring it in, but yeah, I expect them to bring it up some point in the next season and a half, so to speak. As far as the first part goes, maybe you're right with regards to that, but I just think of it as that Jon sees more important things that he has to do right now, and you know, even though Bran, it's like he'd probably be very happy he's alive, at the same time, he's got a big problem on his hands. He knows that, and he's going to be working towards that. Otherwise, he sees it as nobody's going to be alive. So, yeah, that'll be it for today's video, guys. We'll see you back again tonight for the review after the episode premieres officially. You know, so if you guys like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share and favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, you can subscribe to the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.